So the child doesn't get excited about somebody who did something kind, somebody who did something selfless. That he doesn't enjoy, but he enjoys intelligence. You might have a brilliant little monster. What does it mean to raise a child? Isn't it a little strange expression? You raise cattle. You raise wheat. What does it mean to raise a child? And this is really crucial. What do you want from the child? I remember being confused growing up. We would finish a meal, and my mother would say, take the plate to the sink. Be a mensch. So I thought, oh, a mensch is someone who washes dishes. That's a mensch. But then my friend came over, and I didn't give him a candy or ask him if he wants a candy. And my mother says, offer him a candy, be a mensch. I said, wait a minute, I'm not washing dishes. So what's a mensch? It just kept on going. This, be a mensch. That, be a mensch. What in the world is a mensch? What do we want from our children? We make them crazy. Raising children literally means take them from where they are and raise them up a step. In what? In what gives them pleasure. Every child is born with pleasure. What is the pleasure of a baby? Taste and touch. That is the lowest of the five senses. You want to raise your child means introduce a higher pleasure. Not take away pleasure. Introduce a higher pleasure. For example, the pleasure of music. Why do we sing to our children? We don't sing to anybody else, but we sing to our children. Because we want to introduce, you had something to eat, you put everything in your mouth. That's nice. But you want to see something nicer? Here's a tune. It's more pleasure. It's a greater pleasure. It's a more edel pleasure. And you know when we sing? At the table. When they're enjoying the lower pleasure, we introduce the higher pleasure. Don't just eat. Introduce something a little better, higher, more refined, more elegant. So raising children means introduce a higher form of pleasure. After we introduce music, what's the next step up? Good character. You ever read a book to your child about somebody who did something very, very special? The child's eyes light up. His face lights up. Read it again. Let's read it again. The pleasure that comes from good character is a greater, deeper, more intense pleasure than eating and touching. It's also higher than sound, which is music. What's the next step up? The next step up is intelligence. When a child figures out a puzzle or a riddle, or you ask a question and the child knows the answer, do you see the pleasure that that gives the child? Greater than all the other pleasures. But you have to cultivate it. You have to encourage it. And you have to go in that order. Because what happens if you cultivate the pleasure of intelligence in a child, but you didn't cultivate the pleasure of good character? So the child doesn't get excited about somebody who did something kind, somebody who did something selfless. he did something really helpful, that he doesn't enjoy. But he enjoys intelligence. You might have a brilliant little monster. So no skipping steps. What is the next step up? The next step up is the pleasure in serving God. So you got to climb the ladder that stands on earth but reaches into heaven. And that ladder is the ladder of pleasure. That's called raising children. So, number one, sound like a parent, not like an adult. How do you do that? Prepare what you want to say. Think ahead. What does the child need to hear or learn next? Number two, wait for the right minute. Make sure that your child is listening to you when you speak. Too many times, you hear parents saying to their children, "Are you listening? Did you hear what I said?" That means the child has tuned you out a long time ago, and you know it. Why did he tune you out? You talked to him when he wasn't listening. So you're just noise in the background. Do not say anything to a child, or nothing serious, when you know they're not listening. It just creates a bad habit. Number three, don't always discipline bad behavior. Sometimes you make believe you didn't see. Discipline good behavior. They appreciate it, and it's more effective. And then you may not have to discipline bad behavior because it won't happen. And then raise your child. Climb the ladder of low pleasure to higher pleasure. If you enjoyed this conversation or this topic, and you're looking for more information, or you want to hear it again from another angle, there is a way to do that. And that is in this book. It's all there. Order it from Amazon. You can read it, reread it, and share it.